Hi, I'm Alfonso Muchacho, and today I'm going to show you how to make some big, thick melodies from just using your voice. Well, using your voice and a few effects. I'll show you a couple of different techniques and plugins that demonstrate that you don't really need to be able to sing to pull this off. First of all, you're going to need a recording of your voice. I'm just going to record in a simple ah now. As you can hear, I have the voice of an angel. Don't worry if you don't. We'll be running this sound through enough effects that it won't matter. If you don't want to record your own voice, there are a few alternatives. One is to grab a sample, obviously, but a few synths have options to create these sorts of vocal sounds themselves. This is Blue 2 from Rob Papen. I hope I'm saying Papen right and it's not Papen. It looks like Papen. It's got a few waveforms in here for creating vowel sounds, so you can quickly knock together a decent imitation in no time at all. So that's one sample, but it's got a whole lot more. Obviously, this doesn't sound quite as moving as my recording, but it'll do a job. Other options are found in big samplers like Contact. Omnisphere does a really good boys choir, and lots of wavetable synths can also pull off this to varying levels of success. I've used Ableton's built-in tuner to pitch my voice into some sort of key, and I've loaded it into the sampler now, so I can play it back as if I was playing a string or a synth sound. Delightful. So obviously, if you want to play chords, you can just go ahead and do it with the sampler. But if you're going for just singular notes and your voice isn't as thick and as lush as mine, there are a few ways to get some depth and width added. Usually, my first choice for this is the doubler plugin from Waves, simply because I have it and it's very easy to use. There are a ton of really good presets already loaded, so one of them, more often than not, gets the job done. Take a listen. You'll notice how the slight detuning and modulation really brings out some thickness, and the panning gives it that wide stereo effect. A similar result can be achieved with reverb, but it's never quite as tight for me as when I use this plugin. I always have to make the reverb really small and subtle so that I don't overpower the mix, and then I never really achieve the stereo effect that the doubler gives me. I suppose if you set up multiple tracks, all panned separately before being summed into a group and then fed into a reverb, you could get close, but for me this way is just way easier. So you've got your vocal sound sampled. What next? Well, you could set up a really short attack and release on the envelope within Sampler to make short vocal noises, but that's a bit too obvious and I'm sure you can figure that out. Instead, let me show you one of my favourite effect plugins ever. Now, I wouldn't call this a secret weapon, as a lot of people know about it, but when I found out about it, I genuinely felt like I was being let into some big secret, as it really did solve a lot of problems for me, and I was just so happy that it existed. So this is Tantra, and what Tantra does is it makes it super easy to set up modulation envelopes. It's got built-in delays, filters, reverbs, etc., and it allows you to easily set up rhythmic envelopes on all of the parameters across a step sequencer. It's super intuitive and it can give great results quickly. Let me play you a preset I made to demonstrate what it does. Yes, now we're talking. So the possibilities with this thing are almost endless, and what I really love about it is the ability to make melodies out of sounds that shouldn't be melodies, like this vocal clip. I mainly use the filter cutoff to create rhythms and then add effects afterwards. Let's quickly create something cool now. So I'm just going to adjust this step sequencer here. I'm going to make it really obvious, real big differences between on and off, essentially, so that you can hear what's going on. I probably wouldn't do it this quickly or this rough if I was doing it seriously, but here we go. I'm just going to modulate or assign the filter cutoff to that envelope. Right, so that's nice and dramatic so that you can hear it. I'm also going to do the same with the delay mix control. Okay, so you don't have to go for straight big block lines like I have there. You can also go for curves to make it a bit more subtle so that effects gradually fade in or fade out. So we're getting some really interesting effects there, some really interesting noises. Remember, this is a voice, and it sounds nothing like a voice already. If you put a bit of time and effort into this, you can really get something going. So as you can tell, it's really easy to get too carried away with this, but it's got some excellent presets to rein you in and give you starting ideas. So if you wanted to, you could do all of this without a plugin. You could draw in the same automation that I've just drawn in here with your DAW, but let's be realistic. It's going to take a long time and it won't be anywhere near as much fun. This is a big deal. If you don't enjoy doing it and it's a chore, you're simply not going to bother. I'm a big believer in making your life easier. You've only got a limited amount of time to get ideas down, and you don't want to be spending that time drawing in automation by hand. So let's go a bit crazy. Let's put an ARP before our sampler, run the sample through Tantra, and then I'm going to use the Valhalla delay to modulate and mutilate things even further. I've got no idea if this is going to work. Of course it's going to work. Okay, that's sounding pretty interesting. Let's play around with Tantra and get even crazier. Okay, that's sounding pretty cool. Let's add in the Valhalla delay. Okay, so I went a bit too crazy there, but you get the point. We've moved far beyond just a voice now. It's pretty much unrecognizable from what we started with. Of course, you don't have to start with a voice as source material. You can basically sample anything, any soundscape, ambient recordings, even drum loops. Go out and experiment.